main NES,
Okay.
and what I've been struggling with, or what I've been improving on. My main thing I'm trying to improve on is my advantage and my neutral.
Okay.
Uh, I'm trying to be more patient in advantage instead of just getting hits in, um, and instead actually trying to keep stage control. So
Try to
that's
like.
what I'm.
Okay, so you don't like fully overextend, and then like if it doesn't work
Yeah,
out perfectly, you end up losing it. I get what you're saying.
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you I'm not sure how much Olimar experience do you have. Do you want me to try someone a bit more traditional to begin with? Just
Sure, that works.
okay.
Um, if you know who Doman is, I
I
play
do.
against him a lot.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he's been teaching me some Olimar.
Okay. Yeah, I'll start with someone like Wolf. Maybe we've seen that in a little bit, and then I'll definitely move to Olimar as the session progresses. But I'll keep an eye out for some stuff in these first
Sounds good.
couple games, and we'll go from there.
Uh,
That move is so
oh, that
big.
that hit me.
Yeah, nothing beats Wolf up B. That move
I did not know that would hit me. I've
is
never been
next
hit by that.
level.
Just tick. Oh, I should probably turn this stage off.
Yeah. We can try.
That's a pretty big move too.
Yeah, that's a reoccurring theme you'll find with Wolf's attacks is that they're a lot bigger than you would ever expect.
Yeah. Ooh. Yep. Take. Oh, yeah. That's
Yep.
the.
Oh, messed that up.
There we go. Uh, oops. Oops.
Wow, I
Yep.
didn't think that was gonna kill.
Yeah, this stage is a little janky. Let me just turn this off real quick.
I'll make sure it's off of mine as well.
Gotcha.
No, I mean, just even in that one game, it definitely takes a couple, I think, for me to understand better. But from that one, it didn't seem too rough. I think there was a couple times where you might get into like a rhythm of what you want to go for, like knowing when you want to land with an up air, land with the PK fire or something like that, or like the jump canceled one.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of one of those things where it's like, everyone's gonna have their own rhythm for these things, but it's a matter of like, are you making sure that when it stops working, you're switching it up, because it's like you don't need to change it if it's working.
Yeah.
So I think we're just gonna keep an eye on for that going forward, make sure you're not constantly falling into that.
Okay. Yeah, because eventually people are gonna adapt, or like,
Yeah, and that
most likely people will
and
adapt.
that kind of bleeds into your neutral, like you were wanting to work on, just because it's all about, are you? Oh, no, I'm alright.
Oh, you could.
Are you able to like keep it so they're not figuring it out as easily?
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
That was a little janky. Yeah, I'll go for Nair out of shield a lot too.
I mean, to be fair, it's Nest, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, like it's a really solid option, and it's hard to punish.
It is, and I think what you just the times you're gonna want to watch out for that are making sure that it's like you're paying attention to when it should happen, as opposed to like doing it just because they hit your shield. Like if I space something and you're not getting anything, it's probably not worth going for, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm
nice dude.
if I'm like spacing things properly, then you definitely need to do something else. But
yeah,
I see what you mean there. How there's times where you can always go for it. So that's something to work on.
Okay, gotcha. Thought I could parry it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's why I delayed it just a hair.
Ooh. Whoa, I fell out of that.
Yeah. When you're falling into those moments where you feel like you're naring a lot, it's kind of almost like a habitual thing. Biggest thing you can do is make sure that you're recognizing that you're doing it. Either ideally before you're gonna do it, someone hits your shield, you go, oh, I'll do this option. Like you have some like cognitive function going on, deciding what you're gonna do instead of kind of just naturally muscle memorying the nair out. But even if it's happening post nair, so it's like after you nair, you'd be like, dang, I shouldn't have naired there, I've been doing it over and over. That's a good start, because the big thing for you is making sure that making sure that you are putting in a lot of conscious effort and not just hitting your buttons. Like it's got to be, you want things to have a purpose, right? Like it's not saying that you can't go fast. I mean, when I play Olimar, I'm throwing a ton of buttons out, but everything is clearly like thought out. It might not always work, which is fine, but it's like that. I know what I'm going for.
Yeah. Okay, so those are like points where I can keep my advantage well. Like that's what I've been working on.
Gotcha. I'm probably gonna swap after after this game to a character that's not as vulnerable and disadvantaged as Wolf.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's kind of messes up Wolf. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't make it back?
I think I waited slightly too long on the double jump.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll try someone nice and consistent all around.
Gotcha.
Go to your Lucina.
Yeah, that works.
No, I mean you definitely have a good foundation. Like I think you're in a good spot with your Ness. I can see where you might struggle with neutral at kind of a higher level though against some of the other characters and players out there. Just because it's like my Wolf is not, that's not something that I would say is nearly as refined as like something like my Olimar, where that's much more methodical. So I think as we keep going, I'll see how you handle more elaborate game plans. How do you usually do against Doman?
He usually beats me, but I can, if I really think things out, I can take games off of him. I take games off of him usually. Like I stream our matches and stuff, and I look back on what I could have done better.
Okay, that's a pretty good place to be. I mean, as long as you're taking game and stuff, you're able to put out that thought. And I mean, like you said, it's kind of if you think a lot. Like Olimar's one of those characters where you got to put a lot of thought into it to make sure you're catching up with everything.
I decided to I want a secondary Olimar because he's always one of the characters that fascinated me. I don't know why.
No,
he's just really cool.
There's a lot to him.
I do have Lucina, who is a bracket demon to me. So this will be good.
This is good. Yeah, I mean, Lucina's one of those characters. I imagine the Disjoint can make it a little rough for Ness.
Oh yeah, it's one of his worst matchups objectively. Oh no. Yeah, that was accidental PK fire.
Oh
that's
my gosh, I didn't
that's
hit that.
dude. That's Ness stuff.
There we go, I'll take that.
Yeah. Oops.
So, have you, in regards to you saying how you want to pick up Olimar, son, how much have you been playing him so far?
Here, let me join back the arena. My game
Oh,
crashed.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, mods. So in terms of Olimar, I've been playing him for about a week now. Um, but I've been doing sessions with Doman. Um, he's in the same crew I am, so
Gotcha.
I've been doing sessions with him like every other day or so. Um, and my Olimar's been improving a lot since then.
He's one of those characters where there's definitely a high learning curve to him, and it's not always in like the technical sense, like how you with like Nesh, you need to do your Psymag and stuff and all that. It's more so just the awareness and a lot of understanding how he functions.
Yeah.
But if you play against other Olimars who are competent, you usually pick up on little things they do, and then it gives you a little bit better. Like, I'm sure you watch Pikmin more than the average person does when you're fighting
Yes.
him. So when you play Olimar, you're going to be a little bit more accustomed to watching your own Pikmin and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
And something I would recommend when you're playing the character is, since you already fight an Olimar, when you're playing as him, try to keep in mind the things that you personally try to exploit when you're fighting Olimar, so that you're not getting caught in those same weaknesses, right? Like if you struggle in shield or in disadvantage, think about what you can do to get down or how you would punish it, and that'll kind of give you a better idea of how to play it.
Yeah, my Olimar really struggles in disadvantage because his disadvantage is really tricky.
Yeah, that's definitely an expected thing. Pretty much every Olimar is gonna have trouble there. Even the best ones. It's just the best ones are pretty good at making it, turning it around, as well as like making the other instances of the game are so impactful that it doesn't matter if we get disadvantage.
Yeah.
I try to look at Olimar as like, if I'm not dead, it doesn't matter. Like, you can hit me all you want.
Okay. Yeah, because Olimar just racks up damage.
Yeah, like,
so
you give me rage, I'll
quick.
kill you at 50. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
I also have struggle killing with that character.
Really?
Well, like, okay, so it's hard for me to like nitpick Pikmin to kill with.
Okay. So you'll like attack with the wrong colors at the wrong times, and when okay, yeah, that's something that comes with time. Like Pikmin management is definitely a skill that you just get from playing the character. Because there's not really like a trick to doing it per se.
Yeah.
When I go Olimar, I'll definitely try and give you one of the, I guess, tips that I like to recommend to people who are trying to keep up with Pikmin. This might help you.
I'm dead. Yep.
With Lucina, though, I know you said this is your kind of like a bracket demon you have. Lucina's kind of like a moving wall, so it's not necessarily offense, it's just like, I'm always here to stop you. So I think parrying works wonders against this character, because she's a lot of single swings. And Ness having a solid frame rate, that means you can probably exploit that pretty well. Like, you parry into like into an air, or into a tilt, or into a jab, depending on what they do. So that might be something to play around with a little bit more.
Okay.
I think you could also try and, you've caught me with a couple times, not sure how well this works against Lucina. You fight using PK fire as like a way to intercept your double jump cancels when they're trying to swing. But just like take it slow until you find an opening. You've got some tricky movement with things like Psy Magnet and your dash attack. You can catch people. Like, you have ways to just catch them because Ness has rather large hitboxes. So I don't think it's
that's unfortunate.
It doesn't hurt to mix things up like that and just play it a little bit slower, because like you said, you wanted to show some patience in your advantage state. Well, if you showed it neutral and things like that, and let the Lucina potentially open themselves up first, that's going to do you a lot of favors. Like, let me pull up Lucina's frame real quick. Okay, so Lucina's got some pretty safe aerials. Neutral air is -4-ish, forward air 6, -6, back air -5, up air -3. Those are safe. But the important thing to note is, what is she doing after that? If she's always shielding after that, you grab her, right? Assuming you're close. But if she's doing anything else, her jab is frame 5. So if she like nairs you, all right, -4 into a jab frame 5, that's 9 frames. I am confident your neutral air is fast enough for that.
Yeah, it is.
So it's understanding when they're hitting your shield, like what is their general game plan. It's kind of like how I approach things like Roaring Crom. It's like, yeah, jab's annoying, but what are they doing after the jab? What are they doing after the down tilt? And that will allow you to get punishes where normally you wouldn't be able to.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Been working on my footsies a lot too recently.
Yeah, you seem pretty solid out of here.
Yep. Oh no. Ooh. Yeah, so the Lucina I play a lot will either down tilt right after or shield right after.
Okay, so it creates like a 50-50 essentially.
Yeah.
That's going to be the same principle to what I said. Like you partly have to read it, but people have rhythms to what they do. If they always do the same thing, then it's easy to punch right. You always know. So you want to, when you're playing this person, scout out what they're doing or try and remember from past experiences. Like, are they going to down tilt there? And pick a guess. I mean,
okay.
You could also try doing something like, you know, he aerials your shield or something, and then even if he shields, maybe if you do a retreating aerial out of it, like you do a retreating neutral air, it might still clip him, but then you also get the luxury of retreating, so it might be harder for him to hit you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you made that back?
I am a little surprised myself, to be honest.
Yeah, forward air doesn't really work on Lucina.
The thing with multi-hits is you have to be very sure of where you're hitting someone. Because Smash, since it's a platformer essentially, is so dynamic that it's not like in a lot of other games, like fighting games, where it's like, oh, I hit this button and it works. It's like, no, with DI, with Smash DI, with, you know, the percent, the rage, all that, and then actual positioning and the way people are falling, it's not just how they're positioned, it's also how they're moving. Sometimes they just don't work. So it's important when you're using those aerials, when you're going for like a multi-hit. If you're rising and they're falling, you need to make sure they are inside of it. Because if they're like at the tip, yeah, they're going to pop out. That's just the nature of the game.
Alright. Yeah. You read the neutral get up? I'm dead here.
And that's something that if you can kind of accept that, I think it helps position your aerials a lot better. Like forward air isn't one of those moves where you just get to use it because they're ahead of you, they're in front of you. Like you could, and it might work, but it doesn't mean it's going to. You know, if like I said, if they're falling and you're rising, like that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
So instead it needs to be like you catch them when they're rising, or you catch them when they're static, like standing on the ground. And maybe if they're falling, maybe you either accept that you might not hit them the entirety of the forward air, or maybe you retreat and go for something else, or you try and catch that landing. Like there's different options there.
Okay. Another thing is bracket nerves.
That is the age-old question. Every player I know faces them. I definitely face them. It's partly you have to accept like what you're capable of. Like you got to go in with confidence and go, okay, I know I'm able to do this. I know I'm able to do this, and not worry like too much about the what ifs.
Yeah.
Deep breathing, very helpful. Just kind of like cool yourself down. I always recommend drinking a lot of water. Just like you want to take away every like other little distraction that could be there, right? Like you don't want to be like, oh man, I'm thirsty, or oh man, it's like whatever. You know, just be comfortable and then let yourself just play the game.
Okay.
But when you're when you're doing it, try to mentally like reinforce yourself when you're going in or when you're in a game. Like, it's okay to take a second and go like, okay, it's all right. Doesn't matter if I'm losing, whatever. Like, I'm here to play, you know. And that's kind of what you have to do. And it definitely gets better with time, but you'll always experience it, I feel, to some degree, depending on where you're at in bracket. Like, there's always someone that's going to instill some level of nervousness, right?
Yeah.
And that just means you use that as like an example to buckle down and go, okay, let me show you why I'm going to win here. Let me show you why I'm the better player. Like, use it as like a self-motivator.
Okay. What if you're going against like a player that's better than you though? Like I had to fight OG Mustang, which is like a Terry, and I took a game off him, but like I lost after that because I was really nervous.
You have to still go into the confidence and knowing your abilities. If you have self-doubt, then you are going to lose.
You lose.
Yeah. Like, yeah, they're better than you. I mean, I fought Leo countless times in tournament, and he's beat me every time. But, you know, I don't go in there thinking, man, another W for Leo. I'm like, all right, let's whoop his ass this time, right?
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
it happen? No, not ever. Do I take games and stuff? Sure. But it's like I'm giving 100% with the intention of me winning right off the bat.
Okay.
You know, I would rather believe I'm going to win and then lose than just give up.
Yeah.
But and that's not to say that you can't give those players a certain level of respect. When I fight someone like Leo or Tweak or whatever, I'm like, okay, they are very good at what they do.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm going to keep in mind, but it doesn't mean I'm going to let them just walk all over me for free. It means I might play a little bit more reserved at first and feel out their habits, right? Maybe play in a way that's harder for them to punish, less committal.
Alright, yeah.
You know, I knew it was coming.
They buffed that move.
They did. It's so good now. It's like it kills so well.
The only problem about it is that small characters will fall out of it really easily.
That's fair. Multi-hits are a pain in the ass like that. A lot of them are. Your up air is pretty consistent at least.
Yeah, it is. That hitbox is dumb.
Alright, I'm going to swap over to Olimar now. And
good.
give you some real practice.
Gotcha.
Yeah, with Lucina, just work on what I said about the shield pressure thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a losing matchup, so there's certain aspects where you're just going to be outclassed. So what you have to do is go, all right, if I can't do anything in this scenario, you need to go back a step and ask yourself, well, how did I get there? You know, if you're off stage and he's edguarding you for free every time, you need to go, why did I get off stage? What was he doing that caught me? And it's like, oh, he grabbed me because I held shield too long. Okay, act faster next time. Pay attention to the spacing he's at relative to you. Maybe he's duking you that way. You know, maybe if he's closer, you can go, oh, he's at this spacing, he's going to grab. Next time neutral or something like that.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, too, on Wi-Fi, you have to take things with a grain of salt because you can't always react properly.
Gotcha. I find it funny that yellow Pikmin don't come off Lucas because all of his attacks are electric.
Yeah. Yep. It's also really funny too when you throw a red Pikmin on front of him, like on the front of him, and he PK fires, and it just detonates in front of him, but doesn't kill the red Pikmin.
That is pretty good. Oh, that was the disjoint thing. Lamar's ledge grab animation. Oh, no.
Oh,
There we go.
this is just right.
Yeah, that's a lot bigger hitbox than people think.
Yeah.
I had no jump.
Gotcha, gotcha. So the trick I wanted to tell you about the Pikmin thing is do you drive like a car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just want to ask because some people I coach don't and all that. When you're driving, you know how you don't focus directly on the car ahead of you. You kind of focus on everything, almost like you're looking at like a picture, and you just hone in where you need to. So you can treat your game of Smash like that. It's like it's essentially your windshield, and you're looking through it, and you just hone in where you need to. Yeah, your character is really important, and yeah, their character is really important, but you can almost take like little mental snapshots of Olimar's Pikmin like that. You could be like, okay, he's got red, yellow, blue, and then you briefly look over it, and then you go back to looking at the whole picture again.
Okay.
And I think that's a really good way to do it because it lets you look at it without having to constantly divert your attention to it. Because at most you take like a quick glance and then you're already looking at it. And then the better you get at fighting it, and the better you get at playing Olimar, you're able to keep track of your lineup without having to know like every little thing. Like I always know what I'm plucking next. Like I don't need to guess and things like that. And I know how my lineup functions very well, so it comes with time. But that's a really good way to kind of keep track of things a little bit easier.
Yeah. You just had the best lineup in the game, didn't you?
White and purple.
Yeah.
It's one of them. Olimar's lineup's definitely the kind of usefulness of them changed. It's usually double purple something, but sometimes I want a blue or a yellow, depending. Yellows are really good in my opinion, so the range
because
nice.
their hitboxes are like they're unfair.
They are massive, yes.
I see a lot of people panic when they have Pikmin on them, and that's what I kind of seem to do as well.
It's rough because you have to play like a balancing game between like should I get them off and should I not. There's definitely not times where you don't want to immediately go for them, but keeping them on does have side effects because every time they tick, they cause 2 frames of hit lag. So it does? Yes, it can actually extend the combos.
Okay.
So it's not something you just want to keep on. But at the same time, you can't just always. Oh, I hit my jump button on accident instead of the A.
Yeah, you're good.
You don't always want to leave them on. Thankfully, Ness is a character that's got pretty generous hitboxes with like Nair and stuff, where you can probably get them off somewhat easy.
Yeah.
But it's not like super free.
Yeah, I forgot the yellow one does that.
Yeah, it's because you also have to keep like if you're hitting it off, am I near you? Right? If I'm near you and you hit it, I'm going to hit you. Because you're probably hitting a Pikmin, so not only are you whiffing a move in general, but you're doing it on something that's going to cause hit lag when you hit it. So then I'm going to come in and punish. Maybe if you really want to get them off, you could try jumping away. You know, if you got... Olimar has pretty poor mobility in a lot of cases, so if you can get some distance, maybe jump up aerial up there, and then come back down and not have him. That runs the risk of obviously him kind of catching your landing and things, but it's something you need to gauge in the moment. Whites prioritize getting off the other colors. I'd say prioritize it, but not like it doesn't have to be immediate.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, like forward air just gets them off of me. Question for you. When do you think offline is coming back?
I would say at least a generous estimate would be like the later half of 2021, probably. Assuming you're waiting for like a vaccine, which is just now going out to like more, you know, important officials or medical staff or whatever it is. Like you need the populace to have that probably. So I would say, I mean, you gotta get like 2 rounds of them like I think like a month apart or something like that. So I would definitely say 2021. I've seen, or later half. I've seen some people say 2022, depending on like how the U.S. government kind of handles this thing. But yeah, that's my generous estimate.
Okay. In my scene, if you are seen going to a local right now, you get banned for life.
Oh wow.
Or not for life, but I think you get banned from the
Yeah.
offline season that's coming up.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's pretty divisive thing. I know there's like places in Florida, not my area of Florida, but I know like Central Florida has had locals.
Yeah.
And they've kind of adopted the mindset of we're allowed to do whatever we want. You can't get mad at us. Blah blah blah. We're taking precautions, sanitizing, people are having fun or whatever. And it's like, hey man, you do you. I mean, you've already been chastised enough. You already know how most people feel about it. You're not gonna catch me there. But
Yeah.
you know what? I literally can't stop you. I think banning is a little. It's such a sensitive topic, right? Because you can't. Yeah, they're dumb in my opinion for going and doing those things, but it's like there's also a lot of social backlash and pressure that comes from these things.
Mhm.
So there's not like a real right answer. I've seen a lot of people go they shouldn't ban, but I don't know. I think people should be a little bit more careful with these things, but they have their own priorities. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you tell them. They're going to go if they want to go. Like they clearly don't care. To them, it's more important that they go have fun and do whatever they want. You know?
Yeah. I'm in the North Carolina region, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely remembered. I think that was the region where I heard about it being so divisive.
Yeah. We kind of have strict like.
Gotcha.
Strict people.
Something I want to point out is I feel like at the ledge you're going for the yo-yo a lot, and it's just not. I think you can go for better options, either shielding. You know, like Olimar especially is a character where you can play a little bit more reactionary at the ledge towards him, even on Wi-Fi. Like his roll is very predictor, his roll is very reactionary. If he jumps, like your nest, right? You can rise with these crazy aerials, and I can't.
Yeah.
I don't always have the same liberty as you. So if you go for that yo-yo and I'm just get up attacking, you need to either mix it up more or maybe play a little bit more, like you're saying, patient when you're in advantage. Hold that and go for some ledge trapping as opposed to just trying to kill me.
Okay. That was close.
Let's hope.
If I did not have this matchup experience, I would be getting hit by that blue and red stuff every single time.
These things, yep.
That was a bad air dodge. Meant to F smash. Yeah. Oh, I just kind of stood
yeah,
there.
you literally just stood there. I was like, all right.
I meant to. I swear my shield button was supposed to come out.
So like you see how you had this Pikmin on you there, and that combo was true because of them.
Yeah, like that's pretty insane. I'm dead. Come on.
No, you're done.
Yeah.
So like that's a good example, you know, short character, obviously, the way you're rising. You caught me with like just the bottom of the move while you're moving. And the way I'm DIing, it's like it's probably the opposite of where you're going. So it's just an unfortunate circumstance of the way the game is designed.
Got sniped.
So what are your thoughts? I have some more stuff we can try and talk about at neutral, but I want to hear your thoughts first. Like, how is this feeling compared to Doman? Obviously, I imagine it's harder, but what are your initial thoughts?
You seem to rack up damage a lot faster and play a lot more aggressive.
Yeah, I'm definitely an aggressive Olimar player.
Yeah, and it's harder for me to take stocks
Okay.
because I feel like you're dodging a lot of my stuff pretty easily.
No,
So that's what I'm thinking.
okay. Yeah, and what I'm going in is with like, okay, I've played against other Nest players, you know, varying skill levels. I have like an idea of where your hitboxes are, so I'm just trying to sit right outside of them, maybe use my Pikmin to whiff punish you. I don't need to always go for something big. Since I'm kind of like dancing right outside your range, I'm able to like, you know, stuff like that right there, right? I'm positioning myself in a way to where I can punish you as often as possible based on what you do. And
Yeah.
I'm having an easy time myself. I don't want to say reading, but kind of getting a beat on when you want to swing. And to me, that makes it really consistent for me to be like, all right, I'll position here. So you need to watch yourself if that's not working. You go, how can I position differently? Maybe I can intercept him a little bit better with a certain attack or something like that. That's not what you're doing now, because the way your aerials are going now, they're kind of predictable to me.
Yeah.
So you need to, you know, maybe you should approach with Psymag more. Maybe you should dash attack my short hops more. There's different stuff there. Like, I think the best example of a Nest player that really, I think, it's weird because I've seen him get shit on by Dabuz, but I feel like when I watch him play Dabuz, he doesn't do what he normally does, and that's Best Nest, where he just kind of,
Oh yeah.
in the most respectful way possible, mashes. Like, he really puts out a lot of buttons, right? And then I watch him play Dabuz, and he just kind of like flounders around like a fish.
The most what?
He put in the most respectful way. He mashes, right? Because he pushes a lot of buttons. That's like he's
Yes.
really pressured. And I think if you can do that, that's really good. But for him,
Okay.
it's, you know, and I'm not saying you got to go like be, you know, insanely aggressive like that, but just figuring out different ways to mix up. That was really good. Like I said, so if I'm jumping a lot and dodging, try and intercept my, you know, my jump. I don't jump that high, and you have a dash attack that, while not always the best, can cover grounded options like that. So
Okay.
thoughts like that, maybe using Psy Magnet, you know, it has that hitbox on it, so it can be good for stopping Pikmin. There's a lot there to work with.
Okay. It's in there.
So like right there, right? I was on the right side of that platform. You were kind of at the ledge, and I was like, okay, what's he gonna do? He's probably gonna jump and do something on the platform. So and I have a yellow, so I've got a nice generous hitbox. So what I do, I run under, I reverse up smash, one to ensure that I'm gonna hit you a sweet spot, just in case you do go, you do kind of stay grounded, because I don't want to hit the sour spot. You jump, I kill you, right? So that's me kind of scouting out your option based on my understanding of how Ness plays as a character, and you fell right into it. So on your end, you got to go, okay, I got punished there. He read my jump. You know,
Yeah.
what can I do that's not necessarily me acting so fast? Like, how can I make it harder for him to get a beat on my gameplay?
Okay.
Like, sometimes taking a second when you're at the ledge or when you're in shield or something like that. Like, I wasn't going to kill you with a grab, right? I literally couldn't. I didn't have a blue right there, and your percent wasn't high enough for any other color. So it's moments like that where you can go, okay, I've got a second. Let me try and figure out something. Or for the next game, you go, okay, he punished me there. Let me be a little bit more, you know, not hesitant, but careful.
Okay.
That happened.
Oops.
I'll take that.
Yeah, okay.
I think right there you probably could have thrown out the move.
Yeah, okay.
So with Doman, what do you feel he does that kind of gives you trouble? Is it just like, kind of like a more toned down version of mine, or it makes it hard to get in? What is it?
He plays defensive pretty well. So
Okay.
like, I'll throw out a bunch of moves, to condition them to like come in and try to whiff punish. And then he comes in to whiff punish, but when I try to punish back, he's able to shut down me trying to whiff punish his whiff punish, basically.
Okay. Yeah. So when a character like that, where they're kind of like always right outside your range, or they're always kind of just in time, you might have to overshoot your spacing on things. Maybe going a little bit deeper. You have solid shield pressure, and one of Olimar's, weaker areas is his out of shield game. It's tame, really. Like his fastest option is a frame 10 aerial. It's a frame 10 option with an aerial because fair's 7 and so is Nair. So you can try and play around his shield like that. Dance on his shield, mix him up. You've got faster boxing options. Sure, he's got good stuff. But, like I said, using the Psyman, using PK Fire, using dash attack to just get in on him, it's going to be hard because Olimar can play defense very well. And if the Olimar really commits to it, like, there's not... I think Olimar wins this matchup slightly. So if he's doing his job right, it's going to be it's gonna be rough for you. So you might have to, like, get a beat on how he's playing specifically, as opposed to kind of the character. Be like, he's swinging now I can dash attack because it has a lot of range or something. Or he's doing this, so now I can pick an option. Like, I don't know I don't know his habits off the top of my head, so you need to maybe scout those out if you find, like, the character-specific stuff isn't doing it for you.
Okay.
See what I'm talking about with the Psy Magnet?
Yep.
Like, you just went straight through up smash. And it's stuff like that where if you're really on top of it and the Olimar is not, like, perfectly suited for that, you can really mess him up.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. I registered for lag spike today, that tournament.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to do decent in that.
Yeah, let me know how you shoot me a DM later with how you do.
All right, got you. Oops.
Kinda
Yeah, that was.
Remember what I said with the turning nerves? A lot of just like taking slow, deep breathing, kind of keep yourself feeling good physically, and then when you get in there, just try not to focus on the bad stuff that happens. I personally, something I battle with a lot with my mentality when I'm playing online is like, man, lag ruined that, or lag did this, or whatever it is. Like, it can mess you up. But it's just like deep breaths and just getting refocused back in the game. It's like, it's okay, I lost the stock, I'll play better next time, right? I like to look, I like to be very self-reflective in that regard and go, what am I doing wrong? Not what is the game not allowing me to do? Because if it's something I'm doing wrong, I can fix it. And most of the times, even with lag being dumb, it's like, yeah, you could have pressed your button a little bit earlier, or you could have done this. So that's a really good mindset to adapt to help offset, nerves or kind of a lower confidence level because, something happened or whatever it is. Like, respect these players that are good, sure, but don't assume they're unbeatable.
Yeah. Like, I have a decent confidence level right now because I beat a good player in a money match yesterday.
Okay, nice.
Well, he was talking a lot of smack to me, so that's what I felt.
Put him in good place.
Yeah. And people, what's unfortunate is, it was even scores, and at the very end, a lag spike happened, and I got a back air, and he died at like 100. And everyone was like, run it back, and my friends were telling me, take the money and run, and I said, okay.
Yeah, I take that money.
Yeah, I took it and ran, and then I got a, yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you're feeling pretty good after that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that you, like, in your neutral, having some patience is good. Like, you can play it slow and feel out your opponent, but knowing when you got to turn up the jet, so to speak, if you're fighting someone defensive, be like, okay, I've taken a little bit to kind of understand their options better, kind of how they're playing, and now I have a read on how I can get it on them. I think that can work really well because you're never going to stick to one strategy specifically if you're fighting someone who's kind of giving you trouble. You're going to have to swap it up because they're going to adapt to your stuff as well.
Yeah.
That was.
That's
That's fine. And then with your advantage, I think with the other two characters I was playing, you had a much better time of kind of displaying it here. You're displaying it, and I think it's just you were showing some of the patience. Now that we've been playing my Olimar, because you're not getting me in disadvantage as much, and I think you're kind of going, okay, I'm not hitting him as often, trying to be a little bit more reactionary as opposed to proactive. And that's good, because you're going to want to do that against a lot of other people. Like, if you know you can hit him, no problem. Like, if you're fighting someone in a tournament, you want to start out maybe being a little bit more, you know, like, aggressive, that's fine. But when you notice that, like, okay, that didn't work that time, was it me or was it just that I don't have a good beat on their rhythm? You know, then you can play a little bit more patient, as long as you can distinguish that better.
okay. You don't know how bad I would have felt if that hit you.
I did to myself. Sorry.
Dinner? Yeah. Meant to yo-yo. Am I dead? I always think that's gonna kill me. Oh, now I'm dead. Yep.
If it would have been, I think red and yellow or red and purple definitely would have killed. It would have been yellow maybe because the extra hit's done, for the extra hit lag and stuff, but probably not. But yeah, the blue definitely wasn't gonna do it there, just because also it was a little bit stale.
Okay.
But yeah, you were doing pretty good that game, getting a couple things. Yeah, I overextended some, but I mean, you're gonna fight opponents who overextend. Like, in 99% of the cases, you're not gonna fight someone who's perfect every game, right?
Yeah.
So it's like those moments. It's like, oh yeah, he was dumb, and I've got a bad habit of being like, oh, they weren't playing their best. It's like, nah, that's how they play, and I exploited it, and I win. Like that was the nature of the beast.
Yeah. I heard this thing about Pikmin. Doman told me this. Is it true that Pikmin are from Earth after a nuclear fallout?
That's news to me.
Wait, really?
I don't know. I've never heard that. I'm not like a big Pikmin guy myself, though. Like, I'm rather neutral on the series. I've only ever played Pikmin 1 and 3, and I played those years after I picked up Olimar.
Yeah.
That might be the case. I know it's kind of like hinted at that the planet you're on in Pikmin is Earth, but it's not like confirmed, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's like a real soft confirmation at most. They have like technology and things you find on the planet that give off the impression of Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad air dodge.
I played Earthbound when I decided to pick up NES, and it's been my favorite game.
I've heard it's really good. I haven't played it. I didn't pick up Olimar because of Pikmin. I picked him up for a totally separate reason. That he looked really cool at the time, and the player that I originally saw him from was like really sick. Back in
Shuton?
Brawl. No, back in Brawl. It was the Itono.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So then I'd been playing him since 2013 in Brawl. And then years later, I played Pikmin pretty much just as like stream sub goals because people wanted to see me play.
Yeah.
I didn't really care, and I didn't really like Pikmin 1 that much. Pikmin 3 was really fun though. I played on the Switch recently, and that was a good time. But it's not like I'm rather impartial to the series. It's like, yeah, it's there, it's whatever.
Yeah. Well, I picked up. I didn't pick the Earthbound either. I just decided to play his game because I was like, oh, this game looks interesting. And then I played it, and I was like, wow, this is a really good game.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. It's definitely on one of the catalog of RPGs that I like to play. RPGs quite a bit, so it's something I'll probably get to eventually. So you're getting closer these games in some ways. Like I'm kind of, it's hard when you're talking to obviously to focus. But I think you're in a pretty good spot. What I want you to work on after this lesson, because these types of things are more building a foundation for you is
Yeah.
whenever you're like losing to Doman or whatever, try and answer at least one reason why you lost your stock. Not like, oh, I got back aired here, but like why you got back aired, right? Like what did you do that led you to lose right there? And that's gonna get you better at piecing these things together more in the moment, and then you'll kind of build up like a little reservoir of information in your head where you'll go, okay, if I'm in this situation, I got back aired here before, you know, and then next time you're in that situation, you'll recognize and go, oh, maybe I should play a little bit safer, or maybe I should, you know, keep this in mind. Maybe I can bait it out. And that's how I like to approach the game, and it kind of lets me. That's how I'm, you know, there's the meme with Olimar where it's like up smash, spot dodge, F smash or whatever on people's shields because they shield grab it. It's like, yeah, I know a lot of people want to shield grab it, and bet your ass off I stay spot dodging. And it gets me a lot of punishes, and it's really good. And it's kind of just understanding how those player interactions are functioning so you can exploit them to your advantage.
Okay. Yeah. That move's insane.
Yes, it is.
Should not be in the game. I meant to up air.
That's what I was expecting, so you kept up tilting, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just get out of here at this point.
I wanted to up tilt to scare you and then up air. But GameCube controller said no.
Yeah, I can't let your guard down when just because you're
All
on
right.
stage.
Alright.
All right, we got time for about one more game, and then we can kind of wrap it up and get any closing thoughts or anything out there. All right.
Gotcha.
I always like to tell people that when you're fighting Olimar, I guess you could apply this concept to anyone when you're off stage. But whenever I'm playing as Olimar, I like to think, how can I kill you at every possible moment? So my goal is to get you there a lot of the time. So just because we're not near each other doesn't mean you can't die. And I think that's a pretty good a mindset to adapt when you're off stage. Like, just because your opponent's not near you, yeah, maybe it's like Little Mac, right? You don't have to worry. But a lot of characters have ways to get out there fast or do something out there that can affect you. So you shouldn't let your guard down just because you've kind of disengaged in a physical sense. Like, there's still a lot of game left to be played, and as long as you're on your guard, you might be ready to air dodge when you need or something, and that won't always ensure your victory, but it's like it's gonna make it so that doesn't happen as often.
Yeah. I should be grabbing, yeah.
Oh, I didn't spot that fast. I was like, all right, I'll let you run into that.
Oops.
Oh, actually, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Making that back?
There, you
What?
probably could have and should have done your thing. I think that would have been better because I was rising, so you might have caught me with 2-frame.
Yeah.
Yes!
Unfortunate.
Fantastic. Yeah, solid stuff overall. Let me know how you do in the tournament. I think, like we said, we talked about like the patience thing. You can alternate between like a more aggressive kind of more in-your-face play style, and sometimes you'll have to overshoot it more than you might traditionally do. If you find someone's always kind of like right out of your range, but I think it's alright to play a little bit slower if you're unsure of what to do. Feel your opponent out, see how they like to play it, like what their limit is, if they're more defensive, if they're more aggressive, and then you can change your tempo accordingly. Like, I'm a really aggressive Olimar, right? But then I played with Tweak for 3 hours yesterday, and it was some of the campiest gameplay you'd ever seen us play, because he's not approaching, and if I approach, I lose. So it turns into this back and forth of us throwing shit at each other until we crack the other open, then try and kill him. So it's fine to do that, you know? It might not always be the most fun, but, you know, what's more fun? Winning a tournament or or losing and getting mad because you didn't spend your 10 minutes playing campy.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions or anything else you want to ask?
Let's see. Do you think if I keep practicing, I'll get somewhere?
Yeah. I think
Right.
every person is capable of achieving that next level goal that they want. Like, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and everybody learned at a different rate. So you might take more time than your friend, and that's an unfortunate truth. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. The big thing is to be smart when you play the game, making sure that you're making the most out of your time. You're trying to be effective. You're not just grinding hours and hours on end, mindlessly not paying attention. If you're deliberate, really putting in the work, giving yourself adequate breaks in between, taking time, like refreshing your mind, so you're not frying yourself. I think you can do it. Try not to, like, 2 things. One, don't let Wi-Fi results and things be the most accurate gauge of your skill, because this meta, even though you do play a character that is traditionally seen as a Wi-Fi character, you might not be a player that really thrives in it as well as you could offline. And that you shouldn't punish yourself because you don't meet that standard, right? And then don't time gate yourself. Obviously, you want to do things within a reasonable amount of time, but you have to understand that you're a human and you can't force these things. This is a very abstract concept, being good at the game, so it's rough. What I would recommend, if you really want to keep pushing yourself, is paying attention to how these other top Nest players, online or offline or whatever you do prefer to watch, and seeing what are they doing that's working. And then when you watch these sets, you can try to break down what they're doing that's making it work. So maybe even try and do like a thought exercise where you're watching a clip and you've got like best Nest versus whoever, right? And you pause it and you go, all right, let me try and predict what best Nest is going to do next, and see if you can get an idea of how he's playing the game with your character.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to look at top Nest players like a lot and do VOD review on them.
And try and understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, and if it's working. And if it doesn't work, go, okay, he tried to back her there, but this guy shielded it. Okay, so that doesn't work that way or something, You want to...
Yeah.
The biggest thing in Smash Brothers, and really any fighting game, is if you know what your opponent's doing, you can win. So trying to reverse engineer, that's really good. But, try to find a healthy balance of it. Playing the game is just as important as watching VOD review. So don't focus on one thing too much. Give yourself little breaks here and there. Let yourself recharge and understand that it takes time. But I 100% believe that any person is capable of being a top player.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think you
All right.
definitely have it in you.
Thank you.
No problem, man.
Thank you a lot.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.